With the news update on WHTC Holland's Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. Students are heading back to the two institutions of higher education in Ottawa County for the start of a new academic year. Nearly 3,400 students began arriving in Holland yesterday to occupy dorms, campus cottages, and apartments in and around Hope College. This includes around 850 freshmen who will officially be welcomed to campus during Sunday afternoon's fall convocation address at the Jack Miller Center for Musical Arts. Meanwhile, students are settling into the residence halls at the Allendale campus of Grand Valley State University after they were opened for moving in on Wednesday. A Laker kickoff of a number of activities is this evening at Lubbers Stadium. Classes begin at both Hope and GVSU on Monday. Meanwhile, at Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo,
the formal move-in period ends tomorrow for on-campus housing, but Western officials do say students can still arrive through the first day of the academic year. Staff members are available to help, especially for first-year students and their parents. Western Michigan University opened the new Valley Oaks Residence Hall this year after it took around 3 years to design and build, and that adds 1,000 more beds. I'm Michael Arning.
As one staple of dining in Holland departs, another in Zeeland continues its literal rise from the ashes. Today is the last day of operations for Mr. Kozak's Heroes off of East 8th Street, as family members are closing the small diner that has been serving Heroes, Chicago-style hot dogs, and Italian beef delicacies for more than 3 decades. It has been strictly a drive-through eatery since the COVID-enforced health protocols of 5 years ago. No word on what will happen to the property, which is in front of the Holland Energy Park. The Holland BPW bought the adjacent Verhaeg Auto Sales property in April. Meanwhile, work continues on rebuilding Frank's Restaurant off of Main Avenue in Zeeland after an April fire destroyed the downdraft hood and exhaust ventilation system, requiring a complete custom replacement. The interior of the 100-year-old plus diner is also getting a complete overhaul. No timetable as to when it will reopen has been announced. A limited menu continues to be offered at Frank's East next door. Unemployment stayed relatively steady along the lakeshore and across the state last month, and not seasonally adjusted numbers from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics disclosed yesterday by the Michigan Department of Technology Management and Budget. Joblessness in July stood at 4.1% in Ottawa County and 4% even in Allegan County. It's no change and a rise of 0.1 of a percentage point respectively from June's levels, while a year ago those figures stood at 5.2 and 5.4% respectively. State officials say that 35 of the 83 counties in Michigan had lower unemployment rates in July. Only 7 of 18 major labor markets saw dips in joblessness, and both employment and workforce levels were up over the month but down for the year. Meanwhile, the number of first-time filings for unemployment are increasing across Michigan, according to the U.S. Department of Labor, which says for the week ending this past Saturday, there were just over 4,200 first-time filings in the state, several hundred more than the week prior. But nationally, the number of initial filings fell. Drivers heading south on US 131 in northern Allegan County will face delays this afternoon as the Michigan Department of Transportation reduces the highway from 1 to 1 lane starting at 3 p.m. Crews are setting new beams on the 146th Avenue Bridge indoor, which has suffered repeated damage from semi-truck strikes in recent years. The single-lane restrictions will stretch from 100th Street in southern Kent County down to 142nd Avenue in Allegan County. That will go until a complete southbound closure begins at 8 o'clock tonight. The full closure routes all traffic onto Division Street until 8 tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, a flex route will be added to US 131 from the interchange with I-96 in Walker to Post Drive in Plainfield Township. The Michigan Department of Transportation says the $59 million project will add a lane to the left shoulder. That lane will only be open during peak travel times and when authorities determine that it is needed. But it will be illegal to use the lane if the yellow lights at the side of the highway are off. Similar signals are in place along I-96 in Oakland County, along with US 23 in Washtenaw County. The Muskegon Heights Public School Academy system is launching a search for a new superintendent. Over 40 days ago, the Public School Academy Board laid off Lakeisha Loudermill just 2 days after she received a good performance review from both the PSA Board and the school board. Other school directors were also let go. The school district's Board of Education was unaware about the layoffs until they were done and say they want changes made to see how the district is run. A 34-year-old Battle Creek man is charged with stealing nearly $18,000 from a Huntington Bank branch in Penfield Township. Tavagny Davis was arraigned yesterday. His attorney entered a not guilty plea. He is accused of handing a teller a note demanding money, then handed her a bag, told her to fill it with $1,500 bills. Calhoun County Sheriff's deputies recovered all $17,808 that were reported stolen. Corewell Health will be building an 11-story, $1.3 billion tower in downtown Grand Rapids. The 780,000-square-foot facility will have 17 operating rooms, 180 private patient rooms, a new emergency department, and a hyperbaric chamber. Corewell Health West Michigan President Dr. Josh Cuesta says Butterworth Hospital has outgrown the facility and has consistently had over 90% occupancy over the past year. The Grand Rapids Fire Department says 3 firefighters were injured when they were battling flames at LaGrave Avenue Christian Reformed Church. The fire started around 11 o'clock on Wednesday night. Crews were at the scene until around 3:30 p.m. when the flames were finally extinguished yesterday. 2 of the firefighters were injured by falling bricks. All 3 now have been released to full duty. The burned part of the church was built in the 1890s. Bond for a 22-year-old suspect in a deadly crash in Grand Traverse County has been set at $100,000. Benjamin Leask was charged yesterday with operating while intoxicated, causing death for a crash that killed 17-year-old Wilder Seeberger. The teenager was about to start his junior year at Traverse City Central High School when he was killed. A memorial for him was held on Wednesday night in Traverse City. In high school football along the lakeshore last night, these results: Godwin Heights 58, Holland 38, Grand Ledge 40, West Ottawa 21, Zeeland East 30, Oak Ridge nothing, Hamilton 42, St. John's 33, Galesburg Augusta 24, Saugatuck 23, and Fentonville 60, Baldwin 12. This evening, Allendale is at Holland Christian and Zeeland West is at Cedar Springs. Next Thursday night at 6:40 p.m., hear the Manawanted West Ottawa game on WHTC Holland's Cool FM or the Saugatuck at Comstock contest on the Lakeshore's 92.7 The Van. Andrew Schuster threw for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns as Grand Valley State began its gridiron football campaign last night by winning at Charleston 38-10. The Lakers entertained West Texas A&M in Allendale next Thursday evening. Idle last night, the Tigers host the Los Angeles Dodgers at Comerica Park in Detroit this evening, with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 6:15 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Idle last night, the Cubs entertained the Cincinnati Reds at Wrigley Field in Chicago this afternoon. Idle last night, the Chicago White Sox take on the Minnesota Twins in Minneapolis this evening. Maddox, Long, and 3 West Michigan relievers teamed to allow 3 hits with 12 strikeouts as the Whitecaps beat the visiting Peoria Chiefs last night 3-1. The series at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park continues this evening. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.